Well, that's where that gun-loving acolyte lives. I mean, Zobek told us he'd be a challenge, so I guess now would be the best time to clean out the castle for all of the collectibles?
Hooray!
Junk Roomba, let's go!
And now that we have the demonic wings, we can do some shortcuts throughout the castle as well.
Oh, that's good.
All right, so we will be getting around to the castle eventually, but I did some collecting in the city as well. So, for those of you who've been following along in the thread, I've been pretty much putting out updates on a near weekly basis, but to put it lightly, there's been a lot of shit going on in my life recently, and we've been working off of a backlog. I think update 15 was recorded back in, I think, late September, early October, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It feels like it's been a month, yeah.
And so this is the first time that we've been recording any Lords of Shadow 2 content since then. Also, we got the Icy Crest, which is where Dracula just throws down his Void Sword at a temper tantrum, and as a result, lots of people get frozen in the ground. It's actually a surprisingly good move.
Now that we have the wings, I can't not draw a parallel to Arkham Asylum.
You don't actually get to fly or anything. It's just a double jump. It works more like the it works more like the double jump from Lords of Shadow 1. Except it like I mentioned in a previous video. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we must respect the upgrade music that I added in because Lords of Shadow 2 just forgot to include it, it seems, because that
traditions are critical.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It seems like it's been lined up perfectly. Anyway, so I don't oh yes. So there's this extra world map where you can actually see how many collectibles are left. Although it's a bit sneaky.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit sneaky because it only shows you how many collectibles you can get relative to what powers you currently have. So it's why I didn't really show it off now, because now that we have the demonic wings, which is the last really important upgrade that Dracula gets. Also, this is Icy Crest. It's kind of useless on a single enemy, but in groups it works really well.
I was gonna say, like, it seems like the kind of thing you'd want to use when you want to take some heat off of you, just by, like, locking some enemies in place.
Yeah.
You're getting snotted on pretty severely.
Yeah. Also, that shows off something that has been an issue throughout this LP, but I haven't really drawn attention to it, which is that this game does not give you invincibility during the parry animation, like during a synchronized block.
Oh.
Yeah, if you get hit during that, you'll still take damage.
Ugh.
That's a little cheap.
And this is why no one liked the dodge in RE3.
In either version of RE3, really.
I mean, the modern dodge at least gave you the iframes, I think.
Actually, I should say, I have not played either version of Resident Evil 3, but I've heard bad things in both versions.
Modern RE3 is fine. It had a lot to live up to coming off the heels of RE2 2019.
Yeah.
Again, which version of Resident Evil 3 are you referring to? Because that applied
Modern.
to both. That applied
I said
to
modern.
both.
I said modern, but yes, this is true. Both versions had a lot to live up to coming off the heels of 2.
In a sense, the fact that modern RE3 was a disappointing follow-up to a critically acclaimed sequel makes it a very faithful remake.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, it's very appropriate, but I don't know. People got super hyped that Nemesis was going to be like the second coming of modern Mr. X, but then he ended up just being a bunch of set pieces.
I liked the Resident Evil 3 remake well enough. I see where some people are complaining about content that they cut from it. There's a whole section that they just didn't remake that was kind of plotting in the original. The dodge mechanic is not as bad in the remake as it is in the original. It's mediocre.
So this is me doing a little bit better using mist against the shotgun civilians. I do have to emphasize a little bit better. You can, this is a pretty cramped area, so the dodge doesn't really work that well against shotgun blasts, but mist does wonders. And I did say earlier that before you get the mist, dealing with shotgun civilians is an ordeal, to say the least.
Yeah, it was.
So this is back where we had one of those early rat puzzles. This is another mist area.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think I remember that area from Symphony of the Night, just where you needed the mist to ride a current up.
I mean, that's speaking of Symphony of the Night. I think as great as the music is in this, I think it could use some more melody-driven music, because a lot of the music is very good, but it's also ambient. It's not the kind of music that gets stuck in your head. It's very fitting, and it's extremely well made, but it's not the kind of music you'd want to put on in your car.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that gets me about modern, I guess, AAA video game music. There's so much ambiance that I can barely pick up melodies, and yeah, nothing gets stuck in my head.
I'd say yeah. Generally speaking, there's been a repeat of Dracula's leitmotif throughout several of the ambient pieces.
I honestly have not been able to pick any of that out.
Maybe if I could figure out how to map it on MuseScore, I'll put it here. So this part, for whatever reason, the video guide that I was using didn't really help me much when I was figuring out collectibles, because the way that, the YouTube creator Mikey Rog, who has been an incredible resource for me for figuring out all the collectibles, much more useful than the dodos, I gotta say. But he collected them in a very scattershot way, to the point where I had to basically go back between his story runs and several different cleanup sections to determine where he actually picked up certain items.
Oh, I see.
It's only kind of his fault. I mean, just because of the way the game is structured, it's very tempting to go pick up collectibles whenever you want. Also, just pointing out that the Horned Demon he's annoying to fight, just like always. It's been a while, but the Horned Demon is like the equivalent of the Riot Mech for the Satan soldiers.
I do remember you saying that, yes.
Yep.
Also, for some reason I just realized that there's some weird glitching in the files. This is something that I thought was only in the proxy files, but apparently it was in the final codec as well. So sorry about that. So this is one of the the main collectibles that really stuck me, because there's not really any good signposting that you're supposed to go into rat form here.
I think I heard one die.
Surprisingly, no. They are invincible.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, so if they're not you, they can't be hit.
That's the thing. It depends on the trap.
Oh.
For the electricity traps, because they're so difficult to navigate, they just made the AI invincible. And I want you to keep that in mind, because once we go later here, I went the wrong way on purpose. I want to say on purpose. Let's just go with that. Also, I was very disappointed that there was no unique animation for running into the fire.
I was gonna say that doesn't seem right for bursting into flames.
Yeah, that's just the generic exploding animation that happens on every death.
Yeah, burning rats are a little hard to pitch. And yet.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I haven't done that joke in a while. I think last time I did that was like, what, the Deadly Creatures LP?
Yes!
It was about time to bring that back. And there's another paint box over here. Yeah, I was pretty aggressive with the extra time wasting. I won't be this aggressive in the future with what I cut, but as I mentioned in our early discussion before we started recording, this was cut down from approximately 3 hours of footage. This 43-minute video, so I was ruthless with what I cut.
That's a lot of items, and that's a lot of wandering around.
Mm-hmm. Oh, audition is... Okay, hopefully it doesn't lose any of my recording here. I'm gonna check. Yeah, it looks like it seems to be doing fine. All right, that's good. So, just to be extra cruel, we're gonna turn on hints for the rest of this cleanup session.
We're sorry in advance, folks.
Just to see what you've been missing. It actually turned out to be a good thing, because there was one collectible later on that I never would have found on my own if it wasn't for the hints. However, for the rest of them, they're extremely patronizing. Like, you saw that prompt there, that yellow prompt about pressing B to cross the other side. It shows up every single time you show up in the vent as a rat.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the kind of thing I would just tune out, like, maybe an hour into the game and just completely forget that the game's, telling me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did you know you can see all the artwork you've collected in the extras section of the main menu?
I figured out the trigger for that eventually. It will play anytime you have at least one piece of concept art that you have not looked at.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow, that's aggressive.
Yeah. Like, it will... It is an everything or nothing with that hint system.
This is like those fuckers that have their baby pictures in their wallet.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so...
Their baby pictures or their
kids'
baby's
baby pictures? One of the two.
So, it's at this point, this is one of the ones where I kind of ran into trouble. I didn't know what the puzzle was here.
Left or right? Right. Left or right? Left or right? Left.
This joke isn't going to make any sense to anyone who hasn't watched every single Retro Prey video.
I get it. I understood that reference.
Thank
I
you.
forget the name of the game, but I understood that reference.
Right.
Clearly, you need to sub in footage of that Mario Party 2 minigame. Or was it Mario Party 3?
I believe the game was named Soldier Boys with a Z.
That's the one.
And it was also a movie before then. Like, they took like a 90-minute movie and turned it into an FMV game for the Sega CD.
Wait, there actually was a movie for that?
Yeah, there was a full movie, and they basically took out...
God.
They basically took out any of the... Okay, so here is the puzzle that I never would have figured out if it wasn't for the hints. That tiny little switch at the top there, that turns on these crushers that were completely...
Oh my God.
Now pay attention here. First of all, I think this is where I show off some amazing hitboxes.
What? What?
God damn it, stop.
Oh, I think that that right wire is placed differently than it seems?
Yeah, there's something about the extension of the hitboxes there. Also, you may have noticed that it went into slow motion for whatever reason. That was one of the rats getting crushed by the crusher.
Oh no.
Oh.
The rats are invincible during the electricity sections because probably they just could not figure out a way to get their AI pathfinding to work properly, so they just made them invincible. But for the crushers, no such luck.
They die real good.
Yep.
I think I just heard one go.
No, that was just one of their... It's anytime it goes into slow motion, that's one of them dying. Those little
Okay.
squeaks you hear, that's either the dodo or it's one of the rat's regular sounds.
Don't worry, Roy. I made the same mistake earlier too.
But yeah, basically you know for sure if the rats die if it temporarily goes into slow motion while you're a rat. All right, I have changed the bitrate on our preview video to 480p. That seems to have improved Audition a little bit. So that's good.
Perhaps you should watch the video on a different device from your recording device.
Holy shit, I never thought of that. I'm not even being sarcastic. I never considered that. It was just so simple.
I could be doing that too. I have enough devices. I curse my comrades, my commander, and God himself.
I'm glad he's
Neither
he's,
her cross-eyed stare nor her crooked teeth.
I'm glad he's willing to stand by this woman that he seems to be insulting with his dying words.
Good job, Mercury Steam. Ugly women are funny, am I right? Durr.
With my dying breath, I love you, you horse-faced crazy bitch.
So first of all, that fire knocks you back but doesn't do any damage. Also, this is a shortcut over to Overlook Tower, specifically back where the Toy Makers area was if you need it. This is also an area that shows off an application of the bloody skeletons I didn't really get to show off. Depending on the area, they have regenerative pools.
Oh.
Kind of similar to how in the first game where if you didn't smash their bones in time, they would regenerate. It works similar to that, except they have to regenerate or they have to retreat back to their pools. I did not know that. I did not know this the first time I fought them. So it took a while.
They sound like blood skeletons from classic Castlevania.
Yeah, actually, the ones that get up after you knock them down.
Yeah, the red ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are a pain in the ass in every game except I don't remember if it was an original Rondo, but at least Dracula X Chronicles, where rescuing one of the maidens gave you a charm that would empower you enough to actually vaporize the blood skeletons.
Also, this reference is probably hopelessly out of date. This is that really annoying song that Your Movie Sucks kept playing from Kimba the White Lion. Like I said, hopelessly out of date. Hopefully someone got it. I only do references that make me happy. And if someone laughs at them, that's cool too.
You know, you do you. Whatever makes you happy.
It just means we're all getting old.
Oh, God. We just gotta wait a couple of years until Chaos turns 30, and then we can all be old men together.
You got some catching up to do, man. I'm 38.
Oh.
As of this recording, I'm 25.
I keep getting older, Roy, and yet somehow I never seem to catch up to you. It's weird.
Well, when you've got enough experience with it, you know, it just comes naturally.
So this is back in the Volkova's boss arena.
Oh.
There's a nice little paint box there. I promise we will eventually be getting to the castle. I forgot how much city I did in this cleanup session.
Yep, here's the Arts District.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of city. Like, a deceptively lot of city.
It's almost like the city's kind of a big place.
So just follow me. I'll set you free, and trust me, and we will escape from the city. We'll make it through.
Yeah, we'll follow you. Just set us free.
Yep.
And this is a whole other area of the library, this upstairs portion you don't really get to explore until you have the demonic wings. Can't wait until we get to Carmilla's lair, because like a good 2/3 of Carmilla's lair is hidden behind demonic wings unlock.
The child wolf of Dracula? Dracula?
Yeah, there seem to be a lot of legends about Alucard in this universe.
The Legend of the White Vampire that, thanks to its cinematic adaptation, is another one of the most recognized myths of the city.
I know, the cinematic impact of Tom Hanks cannot be understated in the Lords of Shadow universe. He was a one-hit wonder, but damn if he didn't have a huge impact.
It was a hell of a hit, man.
It was also thanks to this hint system that I realized that I've been calling the pile of sacrifice a pillar of sacrifice this whole time. Oops. Also, it's here that I'm pointing out that the different relics are different prices at the Chupacabra shop,
I hope to see you soon.
which is normally, a pretty decent ecosystem, except you may remember there's that whole DLC where you can absorb and transmute and transfer relics at any time.
Oh.
So suddenly that whole economy.
It breaks in half as long as you have that
Yeah.
DLC.
Congratulations, you've put the Chupacabra out of business.
You are making money from nothing, pretty much.
Oh, nice.
How the hell did you do that?
I don't know. I really don't know how I did that.
That one perfect iframe that you managed to
Yeah.
find that will never be repeatable.
I've seen stuff like that in Smash Bros. Like I was playing with a friend once. I was Robin. They were playing Cloud. I launched a Thoron at them, and they used Cloud's dash attack to just slide under the Thoron and nail me.
See, this is all the more reason that Gabriel needs to be upgraded from Spirit to playable character.
Yes.
We need Gabriel for Ultimate. This has to be the final DLC. We've
That
already
would
gotten...
actually get me into Smash.
If Steve could get in, why not Gabriel?
Forgot Minecraft Steve got in. Oh my god.
Konami would have to be willing to play ball for that. Frankly,
Yeah.
I'm surprised they were willing to play ball so hard with like as much as they did, but I don't know if they're gonna play any more.
Yeah, that's a shame. And it's a shame that, I mean, Lords of Shadow 2 was not a financial failure either. It made a pretty decent amount of money. It was just below Konami's ridiculous expectations. And according to the anonymous developer reports, they were apparently not satisfied with the product. Which I should point out that none of the news reports, or none of the gaming sites were able to confirm that like they were with the other allegations by the leaker.
When did this game come out again? 2014?
2014. It was one
This
of
was
the...
like right before Konami decided to like bail out of the AAA gaming space. So yeah, this game wasn't making mobile money. So of course it was going to be a disappointment to them.
Yeah, it also had a very small amount of modestly priced DLC and no microtransactions.
You can kind of see the start of nickel and diming in that. At least you didn't have to buy FOB insurance.
Yeah, and at least this game doesn't have the second coming of horse armor.
We do, however, have Dracula punching this dungeon keeper in the ass. So, that's something.
Well, I mean, you got to take your victories where you can.
Also, did you know that you can press B to finish off this enemy? I didn't know that.
Oh, no, I totally did not.
Thanks, game.
Yeah, so
You
as
still have to collect 3 more crystals, Gabriel. Oh God, Jesus! Did I just have a flashback?
I think you had a PTSD episode, to be more honest with you, but... So, this is another great thing about the demonic wings. Due to the 3D Metroidvania design there are a lot more opportunities for shortcuts with the demonic wings than there were in the first game.
Oh, no more extending the platform?
Nope.
I like it.
There are several other places where I'll be showing that off too. This is also a place where I was surprised to find that the dungeon keys did not disappear. So I used the dungeon key to open up that 2000 XP area, and I could still grab the other dungeon key. There's a maximum of 3 that you can hold.
That seems like a really arbitrary number to cap it at.
Yeah, it does seem kind of strange.
You have to spend $5 on the keyring DLC. Not worth it. There's not that many doors.
So while I was going through here and transferring some skills, etc., or not, I guess I'll save that for later. Oh yeah, we also collected everything from the City of the Damned. Hooray! I also experimented. Oh, and also, if you try to use a dodo in an area that has all of the collectibles, he refuses to do it. There's also right here, I discovered a little shortcut. It seems a little arbitrary and not quite deliberate enough to be intentional. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it was designed enough to be a deliberate exploit.
Oh.
I later found that it's better if you aim a bit further to the right and aim for that extra platform that's nudging out instead of trying to go for the tighter jump. That was during later cleanup, where I had to keep going back to the City of the Damned to buy stuff for the Chupacabra. Anyway, this is Carmilla's lair. And as I mentioned before, there is a large amount of this level that is not accessible until you have the demonic wings. And it's right here.
Now we get to see all the cool shit. Oh.
Yep. There's a whole library section that is vertical. This is actually one of my favorite areas of the game, just because of this whole top section.
Did the wall just shoot a tornado at you?
No, that was one of the Dishonored vampires.
Oh, okay.
He was just a really good shot.
Now I gotta say, this track is a banger.
Yep. Like I said, Oscar Araujo is... Oh, like I said, that's another Dishonored vampire. Oscar Araujo made 3 really good soundtracks. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the Dishonored vampires...
He wants in on this too.
Poor guy, he just wants to play. I think it was around this point I decided to use the talisman. Yep, there it is.
This track is, this track's all right. I think it just loops a little too soon for my preference.
Yeah, I think that.
Thank you, game. Very helpful.
Extremely helpful. Yeah, that was pretty much the my experience having hints turned on. I wanted to make sure that everyone at least understood how intrusive the hint system was, because it's on by default. You have to turn it off. Which is why I went out of my way to do that. There's also another feature I didn't really discuss called combat camera assistance. I haven't really figured out exactly what it is. I've played a good chunk of the game with it on and off, and supposedly it's supposed to be like a camera that pulls back when fighting starts and focuses on priority enemies that are attacking you, but I've never really noticed that much of a change.
Huh.
It's weird, because I've played other action games with, assist camera modes that are much more prominent. But this one, I don't know, I haven't noticed the difference.
Almost like the feature was half-baked or unfinished or not tuned correctly or something like that.
I was going to say the same thing.
I don't know, I feel like whatever changes are there are subtle enough that I don't really notice them. Like, because none of the games in this series have lock-on. So camera control is pretty important. And I've never had
Right.
a problem. I've never had a problem with the camera in any of the 3 games. Like even Mirror of Fate, the issues that I had with the combat in that game were entirely based on controls and level design. I was
I
always
was
able.
gonna say, as a 2D game, I'm not sure there's much problems with the camera you can have.
Well, there was something of a dynamic camera in that game that would pull back or in depending on what areas you were in and whether you were fighting. Also,
The
this is
invocation
a.
is simple.
This is. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, this my guy is going crazy because he is going to grab the air and then jump, which of course on an Xbox 360 controller is B and A. And of course, we see him having fallen to the ground because he jumped, trying to go mad and because he went mad and then tried to input the Konami code and died.
Well, that's cheeky, but I like it.
And it is not the cheekiest reference that we'll be seeing. There is one that I've hyped up in the story DLC. I will continue to hype it up, and it is, I will say that it is relevant to Castlevania lore, but it still feels very out of place.
Is it on par with Shinoa randomly referencing Castlevania 2, like at the start of her trek through Dracula's castle?
It's a... Actually, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Because you might be closer to that reference than you think.
Because that in Order of Ecclesia, that reference is both cheeky and pretty awesome at the same time.
I swear to God, if it's What a Terrible Night to Have a Curse.
It is not.
Okay.
Is it the morning sun come to vanquish the dark night or something? Or whatever?
I won't go anything further other than to say it has something to do with Castlevania 2. Also, this is Meteorite.
Wait, I got it. It's the graveyard duck.
Let's focus on the moves here. This is Meteorite. It's a really cool move. I'm gonna show it off later. Also, we're at Overlook Tower. We finished everything in Camilla's lair. And when I was grinding for that's Meteorite, by the way. Back when I was grinding for experience, I found that originally, at least, that letting clerics live and just having them constantly spawning in more Brotherhood Knights was a pretty good way of grinding for experience. That is until I found another, even more broken way to grind for experience.
Ooh.
Oh, that clumsy Leonard.
When I scratched my arm, the captain thought I was volunteering. Oops. I feel like I could totally see something like this in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So like this kind of feels like an entry out of like Sid Meier's journal.
Sid Meier's Dumbest Criminals. I would play that. Anyway, this is the section of Overlook Tower that's closest to where Agrias was. Yeah, I have no idea why this is glitching. I originally thought this was only due to the proxy files, but apparently it was an encode as well, and I'm not re-recording this.
I don't blame you for 3 hours of stuff.
Yeah, no, I would not want to do that either. Like for an LP that I've got in the wings, I had to re-record like 5 hours of side questing, and that was not fun.
Oh dear.
Oh God.
That's, all of a sudden I feel bad for even complaining. Well, I do have to say, though, that, for all the people complaining that Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 is not a true Igavania, it does have several elements of the genre and of Igavania's games. First of all, it has a move that you can spam over and over again. That's faster than running. You've got a sprint, which you can then dash into and cancel with a jump. It also has several moves that completely break the combat and make it trivial to fight anything, which is, pretty much a standard of any Igavania game.
But where's your Chrysogrim?
And number 3 is that, there's a 100% consistent way to get infinite money and experience. So, yeah, those I think are the 3 core design pillars of any Igavania as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Bloodstained pretty much on its own just has those 3.
Yeah, Bloodstained is basically just basically Iga picking up where he left off like 10 years ago.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with that.
So that was Roderick the Swift being terrified in his encounter with Agrias. Also, you couldn't really see it there, but the cleric was throwing a holy dagger at us. Similar to the daggers that Gabriel used back in Lords of Shadow 1.
Are we a super-powered vampire yet?
We're getting there. We've got maximum health, I believe, and we're only a couple of upgrades. Also, this is probably the most explicit Song of Ice and Fire reference in Agrias' area. Not only do we finally have the Ned Stark log, but also the area where he died there, that is a specific reference to the tree at the center of the Godswood of Winterfell, which is a sacred area for the Stark family in the Song of Ice and Fire books. Is specifically, I can't remember the name of the tree at the moment, but it's the whole forest area has trees with red leaves. There's a specific tree with a face in it, and that has significant religious meaning for the Starks.
I just think it looks like the tree from Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes. Everyone thinks that George R.R. Martin was inspired by the War of the Roses for his books, but it was actually the Ernest movies.
Hey, Vern, it's the Red Wedding.
Winter's coming, Ernest. I don't know what he sounds like. Sorry.
That was kind of a goofy.
Yeah. That's like my default stupid voice is goofy.
There are a lot of paint boxes up here.
Yeah. It's all just really testing your ability to navigate with the double jump. Overall, I think that the demonic wings are the best improvement mechanically between Lords of Shadow 1 and 2, because it's much easier to control the double jump compared to that first game. He says as he misses the jump.
Didn't the first game have no aerial control? Once you double jump, you're still committed.
You have no aerial control on the second jump. On the first jump, you do.
I think that's just true to classic Castlevania.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as a 3D action game, I don't think you want to be true to classic Castlevania.
Well, you had a decent amount of control on jump 1. It was that your momentum was fully committed on jump 2.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that now.
Okay, so you go from the Castlevania 4 jump to classic Castlevania as soon as you hit it again.
Yes.
And this is the eruption's not really that useful. I mean, it's a very powerful attack, but it has a very limited horizontal range.
I was gonna say that how useful it is depends on how far it reaches out.
Yeah, really, the only use I found is if you manage to get a heavy enemy and have them juggled, you can switch to Chaos Claws and use Eruption. I don't find it as useful as like Furious Claw, which is one of the other moves we got.
So I gotta ask, how many Klydos challenges have you now unlocked that you haven't done yet?
The ones that we did back in video 10, that was the first set. And there are 4 sets of them.
Okay.
And as I finished my cleanup, there is the very last Klydos nail, which is the nails that you're collecting. Also, this is meteorite.
I thought that was Eruption.
Sorry, that's Eruption. Oh no, sorry. Eruption is the vertical one. The meteorite is the death row above.
Right. Like I just the visual effect. I made me think Eruption, but then I realized you were dropping down. So yeah, meteorite.
Yeah. And now we're maxed out on light magic.
Yay!
I never noticed before, but when that effect is playing, Gabriel's model does freeze, doesn't it?
For a small amount, yeah. I think it's like an impact frame sort of thing. Anyway, I completely forgot what I was saying prior to the meteor. I'm sure it'll come back to me.
We were talking about the Klydos challenges.
Yes. Okay, so the very last Klydos nail in the game, the 4th one in that set, is only accessible in the area where we will be finding the 3rd acolyte. So when you do cleanup prior to the first sort of point of no return, but not quite, that's hiding the last the last Klydos challenge. Just to make sure you don't complete too much of the game early.
Gotcha.
For a second, I thought this was going to be a really poetic Snake Eater reference.
Don't worry, Marcus. Someday you will feed on a tree frog.
Did he beat his own head in with a hammer?
Sure, why not?
I don't remember that part of Snake Eater.
It was one of the cut verses. It would have raised the rating from mature to adults only, so they cut it. We have enough experience points to upgrade a skill. I did not know that. I have not upgraded any skills.
Well, good news. You've got enough experience points to do it.
I did not know that. Also, this is the last upgrade. This is the last collectible in the castle.
Woohoo!
It's not the time.
It's not the time.
It's not the time.
It's not the time.
That's going to be the name of the video.
It's not the time.
It's not the time.
Okay. That's even at 45 minutes, that's a lot of cleanup. And we were discussing there's still more cleanup to this.
Yeah, there is. I don't know the exact number, but there's about half of the collectibles in the city left to get. All the castle's done. We're done with the castle, except for the Klydos challenges. But in terms of the collectibles, the physical collectibles in the castle are finished. Also, I think that rather than making clickbait thumbnails, I think the trick now is just to make video subtitles that are incomprehensible unless you watch the entire video. That's much better than clickbait thumbnails.
Let's Play challenge mode has been unlocked.
That's what my friend Faye does.
Good for them.
Just whatever sounded really funny as an out of context quote.